What's up, everybody out there in YouTube land? Wrath2501 here. Alright, so time for the Warhammer 40K part of Double Feature Friday. Of course, as you can see, this video is quite a bit longer. This is something that I had to jump on, considering how it's so popular. This is Can Omni-Man Survive in Warhammer 40K? Okay, so just like this guy's jumping on it, I'm jumping on it, alright? Alright, so this is by Commissar Gamza. Alright, so let's see what he says about this. I don't really know much about Omni-Man and that other thing that he comes from. God, I can't. Now I knew what it was, but God, for the life of me, I cannot remember what the hell the name of the show is called and the comic is called. Oh my God, my stupid brain. Anyway, so let's go.
Hello there, everybody. Welcome to this video. So today I've got an interesting one for you guys here. It's going to be, could Omni-Man, the Viltrumite from the Invincible series, survive in a Warhammer 40K universe? Alright, my good boys, before we start off with this video, I gotta have a little pep talk with you. So number one, 70% of you that watch my content are not subscribed. Come on, boys. This is like me slaving over a hot grill for hours to create a cheeseburger for you that you get to enjoy.
Why
and
would
you're
you
not
take
gonna even
several
say
hours
thank
to
you?
make one cheeseburger?
Now. You know that's not you. A thank you doesn't even cost you money. And subscribing and hitting the bell for notifications costs you no money as well. So if you could do that and help me out, I would greatly appreciate it. Now,
I would also
let us get
appreciate
on
it
with
as well.
making
Thank
you another delicious cheeseburger, and hopefully this time
Cheeseburger.
you'll say thank you. Alright, so Omni-Man is an alien from the planet Viltrum, which makes him a Viltrumite. Now, Viltrumites are a warrior-type species, and essentially they seek out and conquer other planets to increase their vast empire. Viltrumites all possess super strength, speed, durability, and they can all fly. Now, essentially, these Viltrumites are sent out to infiltrate other planets, and oftentimes they can breed with what would seem like any other alien species because their DNA is just so dominant that they're capable of, I guess, just adapting and impregnating basically any other humanoid-type species, which is a little funny to think about. Especially because we're going to be throwing him into a universe with plenty of alien humanoids, which is Warhammer 40K, which is kind of nasty because if you think about it, that's like a weeb's ultimate dream, the ability to infiltrate Warhammer 40K and impregnate the Tau waifus.
Why though?
Now, normally Viltrumites infiltrate by posing as
the way the
heroes
Tau
to the
really look, they
people,
look like
defending
blue
them from like
space
outside
Voldemorts.
threats,
Why the
destroying
hell would anybody
monsters,
find that
etc.
attractive?
When in reality they are protecting their future investment when the Viltrumite Empire arrives and takes the planet. Now, I have to admit here that this whole plot point is a little bit weird for the Viltrumites, and the reason why I say this is because we can take Omni-Man, for instance. He wiped out the Guardians of Earth, which is pretty much like the Justice League in his universe. Now, his excuse was he was weakening Earth, which made the invasion force from the other Viltrumites easier. But I'm going, you just destroyed like their strongest Guardians. You've essentially surpassed everything on Earth. What do you mean weakening Earth? It just doesn't really make sense. At this point, you've single-handedly taken it over. You might as well just leave, go find another planet, and then when the Viltrumites come in, they're just gonna scoop up whatever's left of Earth. But anyways, that's the way they operate, so those are the punches we're just gonna have to roll.
Pretty
now,
sure
when
he
we
gets
talk
stomped
about Omni-Man,
by the,
what kind of powers and abilities are we really talking about here? Because not every Viltrumite is exactly the same. Omni-Man is indeed one of the stronger Viltrumites, however. He is capable of flying way faster than the speed of light. In the comic books, he ended up leaving Earth, and less than a week later, he found another planet that had alien species on there. As far as we know, he went far past our solar system, and if you can do that in less than a week, this dude's definitely going way faster than light. Now, for the exact speed, I don't know. I can comfortably tell you, though, that this dude is capable of going at least multiple thousands of times faster than the speed of light. Now, they cannot survive indefinitely in the vacuum of space because they do require air. However, it was said that Omni-Man can hold his breath for multiple weeks, and that's what allows him to fly around in space. Which further lends to just how fast he's traveling through space, because holding your breath for even 2-3 weeks is nothing compared to flying through space and the amount of distance that you have to travel. So if he can only hold his breath for, like, let's say 2 or 3 weeks, that just goes to show how damn fast this guy's actually traveling through the galaxy. Now, when you want to talk about strength, you're looking at in the hundreds of thousands of tons. That's what we know of, and that's what he's demonstrated. However, when he's demonstrated this level of strength, he's shown very little, if any, strain at all. So we can comfortably say it might even be the millions of tons. We just don't really know. But it is safe to say that practically anything in the 40K universe universe in terms of tanks and armor, he should be able to rip apart with relative ease. Which takes us off into the next topic, and that is his durability. This dude is incredibly durable. Now, in the series, there was something that was called the Hammer. Essentially, it was an orbital bombardment. He took 2 of these blasts directly, and the most that he got from it was a bloody nose. In the comics, he was also able to fight on the surface of a sun and essentially get his face melted off, and not give a damn and keep punching. And that brings us off into the next ability, which is the regenerative capabilities. Now, they don't regenerate something like Wolverine, however, their bodies are able to make like these full recoveries. So imagine getting your face melted off, and then 2 weeks later, your face is back to normal. That's very impressive, especially considering what it took to melt your face off to begin with. Now, one of the last abilities that I want to throw in here is their fact that they live so long. These guys are essentially like space marines. They can live for thousands and thousands of years. Now, the limit to which they can live, I actually don't know. I couldn't find any definitive answers on this, but it would appear that they could live maybe upwards into the tens of thousands of years. So combining that lifetime with the speed that they can travel across the galaxy is pretty fearsome, as they got plenty of time to travel and conquer. Alright, so let's go ahead and take this bad boy and throw him into the Warhammer 40K universe. Now, I imagine that this is actually going to go very similar to what we've seen in the show. He finds a planet, likely from the Imperium of Man, settles on there, finds a wife, gives her a child. And then I'd like to think of the story turning in this direction. Uh-oh, a chaos invasion, or Tyranids invade, or orcs. And then you've got Omni-Man, who just obliterates the entire army that invades. Now you're going to have reports going out going, who is this person that just killed like an entire orc war or a Tyranid invasion?
Would involve
and then the Inquisition is going to get very suspicious about this.
Yeah, they are. Heretic.
I'd better investigate. Now, you might be pulling it back just a bit going, wait a minute, why would he be able to just simply destroy a Chaos Invasion or a Tyranid High Fleet? Well, in one episode, there was an interdimensional invasion force called the Flaxons, which reminded me of the Tau a lot. But essentially, when they came into Earth and taken over, he flew through that portal and just wiped out their entire planet, as far as I knew, in a matter of like seconds. So if he can do all of that against an advanced military that can travel through dimensions, I don't think he's going to have that much problems against something like Tyranids or Chaos or Orcs. Now, when the Inquisition does show up and they want to know, okay, who's this man that was flying around destroying an entire invasion fleet? We want to know more about him. This is likely going to go bad, and the reason why I say this is because the Inquisition is going to demand that he submit to their authority. The Inquisition is very egotistical, and they're like ran by sociopaths. So it's like they can't even comprehend the idea of somebody resisting their word and getting away with it. But now, what do I mean by the Inquisition demanding that he submit to their authority? Do I mean like, hey, you're going to work for us now? No. What I mean by this is the Inquisition likes to conduct a lot of psychoanalyses. They want to peer your mind with psychers and see who you are. What do you really know about the Imperium? Where do you come from? They're going to test your DNA. They want to see everything and know everything about you.
Yeah,
because
they
need to
like
make sure that you're not some demon or mutant or some sort of Xenos infiltrator, etc. And
he is a Xenos infiltrator.
Is a Xenos infiltrator. Now, to escalate things even higher, the Inquisition will be conducting experiments on your family as well. They want to know who is your family. You have a son? Well, we want to know more about him. Let's do DNA tests on him. Let's psychoanalyze him. Let's peer into his mind with psychers and see what he's made of. Let's dissect him. And so will Omni-Man sit by and allow this to take place?
Probably
I think we
not.
all know the answer is absolutely not. He gets very protective about his family, and if he's stronger than you and he's the conqueror, why would he allow you to start snooping around and peering into his business when he sees himself as superior to you? And so now you've got two bullies that are puffing their chests out to each other going, I'm in control here. However, Omni-Man's been working his pecs out a little bit more, and so this fight's going to go down, and it's going to be very ugly, because if he finds out that his child was taken and that they are conducting experiments on him without his knowledge, he's probably just going to rip apart the entire Inquisitional force that is there at the moment. Now, I do believe that eventually the Inquisition will realize that fighting against a man who is not directly trying to attack them or to destroy the planet right in their face and has defended against their enemies, it's going to be a waste of resources to send things like Sisters of Battle, Grey Knights, Space Marines, or just a whole bunch of Imperial Guard at this guy who's just going to start ripping apart everything. So it's kind of like, okay, we don't like him, we don't like the fact that we don't have direct control over him, but if we can build somewhat of a quarantine bubble around his planet and just try to monitor the people that maybe leave this planet and just not send a full force at him, but we'll be at the ready just in case we do need to. That might be more of the way of the Inquisition at this point, because why would you just be wasting billions and billions of lives against a guy who's not trying to kill you directly, but is also fighting against your enemies as well? I do think the Inquisition would then take a more covert operation where they're going to have infiltrators, probably assassins that are monitoring him at all times, and they might even make assassination attempts against him. But I don't think that they're really going to work against Omni-Man, because the dude is just, he's powerful, but he's also like Superman unleashed to a degree, in the sense that he's willing to kill anybody that gets in his way, where Superman's not willing to do that exactly. Now fast forward some years, and I can imagine that him and his child, let's say his son, play an important role in fighting against the Imperium's enemies and pulling in some amazing victories. Now the next problem is the Viltrumite Empire. If they soon arrive into the 41st universe to take over this new world that Omni-Man has, let's say, prepped for them, the Imperium of Man now has a new enemy to fight on a galactic scale, and I think that this is one that they can't handle, because now it's an army of Viltrumites, people who are just as strong, if some of them are even stronger than Omni-Man himself. Now, some of them are weaker than him, but I mean, come on. It's not going to be that Jurassic to the point where they're useless. Even somebody who's half his strength should be able to just rip apart buildings and destroy tanks with his bare hands. That's still pretty impressive, and they all can fly faster than the speed of light because they're all intergalactic conquerors. Now, before I dive into this a little bit more, I also want to say that the child that he's going to have from the 41st millennium, I'm going to assume is going to be built of tougher stock than what his little son was in the original series, which is Mark. I've got to say, Mark is a total sissy, and he's incredibly annoying. I don't think that you're going to have a kid born and raised in the 41st millennium that's going to act like this. He probably will do what his father says, and he would be willing to conquer other planets for the Viltrumites. Now, remember when I was talking about the Inquisition and how they wanted to do experiments on his family? They very well might have kidnapped his family and did experiments on that child, but then Omni-Man eventually puts a stop to it and rescues his family. So that kid could probably grow up with a hatred towards the Inquisition or the Imperium of Man.
Yeah, but they also would have gotten their hands on his DNA, so they would know something.
He's likely not going to be too hesitant to fight against the Inquisition, because he's going to remember what they did to him, his father, and his mother when he was younger. Now, if it goes down this direction, all I'm going to say is the Imperium of Man is going to be fighting a losing war, but more so because the Viltrumites are able to send a single man to a planet to take it over. So imagine this. You've got, let's say, a squad of 10 people. You disperse them and tell them, go find as many planets as you can and take them over. It doesn't matter if you have to smash them apart or break the populace. It doesn't matter. Your job is here to conquer these planets and bring them underneath our heel. If they don't submit, destroy them. Now, these people are flying faster than the speed of light, so they can travel probably across the galaxy in a matter, let's say it's just a month. Let's kind of extend it a little bit. So in 1 month, they're across the entire galaxy. That is incredibly fast. The Imperium of Man cannot keep up with that. What are you going to do?
WARHAMMER? They're pretty slow.
10 billion guardsmen and a whole fleet of ships to stop one man that's already conquered your planet? There's just no way to fight against this. I honestly see that the only way that they could eventually survive this onslaught is if Gilliman requests a audience with some of their leaders, and he would probably have to submit the Imperium of Man. Now, I understand why people would say like that would never happen. Gilliman would rather die and the whole Imperium of Man would be thrown into oblivion. But it's like saying, okay, do you want your Imperium of Man to be smashed and broken apart? Or would you rather it be largely held together, but now you kind of have a new overlord, which is your Viltrumites? It's kind of a hard way to say it, but I think that it's better to welcome a new master and have humanity largely intact.
And also, he's not taking into account that most of the Imperium is a bunch of religious zealots.
However, with that also being said, you have to consider that if the Imperium of Man is willing to work underneath the Viltrumites, then this means they're probably guaranteed to win against every other enemy. They're going to destroy Chaos. They're going to destroy Tau, the Orcs. I mean, imagine a legion of space marines.
The Orcs might be a problem
like Superman, more than you would think. Essentially. Or you could take this even further, and Gilliman can look at this and go, okay, if I invite the Viltrumites into humanity and say you can become one with us and we'll serve underneath you, imagine the Viltrumites now giving humans more children which would fight for the Imperium, so you don't even need space marines anymore. Now you've you've got like Viltrumites flying around in power armor, which is not even necessary, but I guess it would just be cool for the idea. And they're flying around, you know, punching people into suns and stuff and colliding planets and breaking all kinds of stuff. What could really stop that? Uh-oh, we got ourselves a wild card, boys, and that is going to be this. So as Omni-Man is flying through into the 41st millennium, Tzeentch is sitting on the other side going, wait,
oh my
God, what's this? Yoink!
He's like,
he opens up a portal, Omni-Man flies through it, and when he comes out the other side, instead of him landing on an Imperial planet, he lands on a Tau planet. Now, all the Tau waifu lovers are going to be jealous with their body pillows, but this time, Omni-Man is going to get to pork a Tau woman and give her a Viltrumite child, and thus the greater good Viltrumites. And so now you're going to have Tau babies being born with like mustaches, and the Tau Empire is going to grow, because I think they would be a lot more accepting of a Viltrumite, and they're not going to demonize him like the Inquisition would. And so they would have more of a reason to fight with Omni-Man. And if the Viltrumite Empire then comes along, I think the Tau would most definitely be more willing to submit than the Imperium of Man would. And so the Tau would be like, hey, you know what? It's better than us getting wiped out. It's for the greater good. Oh. Your Viltrumite PP, honor my people, give my daughter a strong Viltrumite child for the greater good. Racist. And thus, the Tau Empire conquers the 41st millennium while being slaves to the Viltrumites, who do all the actual dirty work. Which just sounds like a Tau Empire wet dream to me. Now, if you want to talk about Omni-Man possibly landing on like an Eldar craft world, Eldar are kind of like Germans. No matter how many wars they lose, they still think that they're superior. So I don't think it's ever going to work out between those two. Omni-Man would probably just crush and destroy them himself. That is, if he doesn't succumb to like immense psychic might, to which we haven't got into yet. Uh-oh, boys, we got ourselves another wild card, and that's going to be this one. The Tyranids invade, and somehow, in some crazy way, they manage to scratch just the surface of Omni-Man or give him a bloody nose or something crazy like that. They slurp a little bit of that DNA up. That tastes really good. Now, if you guys don't know, Viltrumite is the planet that Omni-Man is from. All the men there have mustaches because it is a play off the word called Viltrum, which is like the upper lip part. And so that basically means that when the Tyranids get the DNA from Omni-Man, they're now going to be like Viltranids, and they're all going to grow mustaches because they're going to incorporate the DNA on them. And so now you have like Viltrum Tyranids flying through space, Tyranids with mustaches, crossing the galaxy, and they're going to be sucking up everything. How can you ever stop an empire like that? It's like evolving Viltrums that now fly around with capes and have mustaches. You guys know Cho'Gath from League of Legends? That's exactly who it's going to be. It's going to be like his gentleman Cho'Gath skin. That's what it's going to be. And thus, the Viltrumnids take over the entire 41st millennium. What could honestly stop a bunch of Tyranids with mustaches? Even the Germans would be saluting that mustache. Uh-oh, we got ourselves another wild card. And this is going to be called the Buttermilk Bob wild card, where basically Omni-Man lands on a planet and a single basic psyker just peers into his mind and blows him up because the warp is overpowered, and Warhammer 40K is not designed to lose. But okay, guys, I think that concludes largely what would happen here in the
Warhammer 40K is definitely designed to lose. It's designed to lose against itself.
Just fine. The problem is when you get the rest of his race and that
he didn't even bring up
then that really starts to shift the power balance within the 40K universe. You tell me. Also, the other thing is about corruption and chaos. I don't think they would be immune to corruption. However, I think there are enough other Viltrumites where they would put that one.
Hey, it's me, your skin. Help me maintain my moisture balance with CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser.
One down who did get corrupted. However, one that does get corrupted by like corn or something, that's going to be a crazy bloodshed. That's a lot of dead planets. That's all I can say.
Okay, so yeah, because he brought up the chaos corruption, which is something that I would think to bring up, but he didn't mention the Necrons and the Catan at all. So yeah, I think they would definitely be able to put up one hell of a fight against these guys. These guys are pretty tough, but they're not exactly Superman tough. I would say these guys are actually weaker than Superman. I'm not saying, I don't like Superman, but I'm not saying that Superman's weak. I'm just saying he doesn't compare, he's not the all-powerful god that people paint him out to be. I do think Superman would fucking mop up in the Warhammer 40K universe, except against anything with mental, because as much as they say, oh, he's got that Torquasm whatever fuck thing that makes him immune, it doesn't make him immune. It's supposed to allow him to resist it, and he fucking sucks at it anyway. He's always getting mind controlled. Superman sucks. Anyway, back to this. So that's the thing, is like he didn't bring up the Necrons or their enslaved gods, the Catan shards. I mean, I think they would unleash them on him, on Omni-Man. They would probably kill him. Those things are pretty powerful. And the weapons of the Necrons are pretty insane. In fact, if the Necrons weren't divided the way they are, they would pretty much roll over everything. I also think that the Orcs are a bit of a harder challenge than he's making them out to be. Because if the Orcs see that some guy is actually going around kicking ass, then that's going to bring more Orcs together. Just like how they've come together to fight the High Fleet Leviathan, the Orcs are going to come together to fight him. Meaning that when the Orcs come together, their Wa energy basically melts the frickin' fabric of reality. They can create things and cause them to happen just because they believe it to be so. So, yeah, I mean, if the Orcs start coming together, if you really look at what the Orcs are supposed to be able to do, they are incredibly dangerous. And actually kind of getting them to fight the Tyranids is actually a good idea, because they're probably the only thing left in the galaxy that can actually beat them. Though, that would just leave you, instead of fighting Orcs, you'd be fighting a bunch of Krorks, which are like 1,000 times worse than an Orc. So it's like, kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't. But, you know, I guess your only hope is either A, the battle between the Tyranids and the Orcs lasts forever, or B, they wipe each other out. Or C, the loser is in such a diminished state that you can actually finish the job. But, you know, and so that would be like the same situation with this guy, Omni-Man, and these assholes. Their name sounds like bugs. But that would be the same situation between them and Orcs. Now, I don't think it's just so cut and dry as he's saying it. Anyway, that's just my opinion. What's your opinion? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe, guys. Help this channel to grow. Like you guys have shown love to my main channel. I really appreciate it. And, of course, fucking bug or something. I don't know. Bit of dust. Anyway. And help this channel grow, guys. And, of course, click on the link to the original down in the description. Get down to Commissar Gams' channel and like the original video and sub to him. I will see you guys next time. Tune in every day for new content. Bye-bye.